telephony, up to where we are, Madam Speaker, I would vouch for this individual, not only because he is known to me, but also because I know the expertise that he brings to Central Bank. Madam Speaker, in the early days of the 2010s, Kenya had to make a decision on mobile money. At that time, Kenya could not decide whether to domicile mobile money in banking or whether to domicile mobile money in telecommunications. What Kenya did, which is exactly what we are doing even with virtual assets, is a wait-and-see game that was extremely very well balanced to allow for innovation first to prove itself, and then legislation catches up with innovation, and Kenya has been able to do this with emerging technologies where legislation does not rush to stifle innovation. Madam Speaker, I cannot add to what the Honorable Kimani Kuria has said, that today there is not one single sector that stands on its own. If you're talking about education, today you will not be able to talk about education without education technology, edutech. If you're going to go into finance, you have to talk about business technology, financial technology, fintech. If you're going into agriculture, you'll have to talk about agri-tech, and so on and so forth, Madam Speaker. In this new world, where we are talking about the drive towards a world that is data-driven, the Honorable Kimani Kuria made a perfect example of the County Kitui. We do not know what assets are under the ground in Kitui. We know that there could be potential for mining. What if we went and found a good reserve of cobalt in a county called Kitui? You, who is not a resident of Kitui or hailing from Kitui, as a Kenyan, you now have the ability to benefit from that which is a natural resource found in your country, Madam Speaker. And this can be done by buying a share of that big find of worthy, whatever mineral it could be, it could even be a rare worth, by going into cryptocurrency and investing into cryptocurrency. Madam Speaker, earlier today, I was looking into the rise of Bitcoin. And together with Honorable Kimani Kuria here and our mutual friend, the Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, we looked at the path of the growth in value of that one cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. Madam Speaker, a few short years ago, people were being urged to go into investment in Bitcoin. Today, Madam Speaker, that one Bitcoin is equivalent to the value of 15 million Kenya shillings. One Bitcoin. Meaning that today, wanting to buy a Bitcoin, you might need to buy a part of that one coin. Where is the world headed, Madam Speaker? The world is headed to a place where technology, and especially the emerging technologies around AI, will have so much sway on every sector that we talk about. And Madam Speaker, if anybody is sitting here and imagining that artificial intelligence is just a tool, that person is totally lost. A tool, I hear people saying that artificial technology, just like social media or a phone, is a tool. It must be clear, Madam Speaker, that artificial intelligence is not a tool. This is a system or a combination of system or a machine or a combination of machines that have their own agency. Madam Speaker, we are working hard as a country to lead. And that is why we are calling ourselves the Silicon Savannah of Africa. Madam Speaker, we cannot be the Silicon Savannah just by word. Onboarding such thinking into places like the Central Bank of Kenya is leapfrogging us in thought leadership to the new world. So, Madam Speaker, I am praying that when given the opportunity, Mr. Angasa is going to go into Central Bank and revolutionize the thinking around new and emerging technologies as applied in financial in the financial world to an extent where Kenya now can proudly say that we are leading not only in new technologies like we have done with M-Pesa, but also in these new and emerging technologies like AI, cryptocurrency, the blockchain technology, the Internet of Things, and all these things that accrue from going into this fourth industrial revolution. Madam Speaker, the experience that Mr. Angasa brings to CBK could be that shot in the arm that CBK rightly needs at this moment. And so, Madam Speaker, allow me to conclude by saying that the work that has been done by this joint committee is a great gift that they are presenting to this parliament. And I would urge every single member of parliament to see this nomination in light of what is happening in the world today, and note that Kenya needs to leapfrog right to the front in this new drive towards the new world of emerging technologies, key among them being artificial intelligence and everything else that ensues, including those that will be applicable in financial services like the blockchain technology and this cryptocurrency, Madam Speaker. The urge, the Honorable Kimani Kuria has put it, Kenyans are waiting for us to have good frameworks around these virtual assets, Madam Speaker. And so I am extremely elated that soon after we prosecute the consideration of this nominee, we shall also be going to a committee of the whole House where we shall be delving deep into the issues of virtual assets. And so I must thank this joint parliamentary committee that was involved in the vetting of this nominee for appointment as a member of the board of CBK. And Mr. Pius Angasa, we wish you the best. We want to see this replicated in many other institutions across sectors, because this is where the world is heading. And we as parliament must also consider how we shall onboard this parliament into this new world. Because if we do not, then what we legislate for will be legislating into the past rather than legislating into the future. And that is why I propose, Madam Speaker, that we should be thinking about having a dedicated committee of the future in this parliament, a committee of the future that is depending on a parliamentary office on science and technology, because we have to make even our legislation, we have to make our legislation fit for purpose for a time like this and into the future. Madam Speaker, I second this special motion on the consideration of a nominee for appointment as a member of the board of Central Bank. And the nominee here is Mr. Pius Angasa, he himself who brings a great wealth of experience, and we pray that he is going to do that which is required in this new posting and office. We wish him the best. I thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable KG. Honorable members, I now propose the question that, taking into consideration the findings of the Joint Committee of the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning and the Senate Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the approval hearing of a nominee for appointment as a board member of the Central Bank of Kenya, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 13th August 2025, and pursuant to Section 11(2) of the Central Bank of Kenya Act, Cap 491, this House approves the approval of Mr. Pius Angasa as board member of the Central Bank of Kenya. Honorable members, I would like to give this opportunity to the Honorable Engineer Vincent Musyoka, member for